Hey YouTube, thank you guys for coming by. Today we're going to be going over how to build custom GPTs the right way. Okay, so before we get into it, we're going to talk about what a custom GPT looks like so you're familiar whenever we get into our example later. So over here we have a create section. You can prompt it and get it made from a prompt if you want. It's not going to be as good as you doing it yourself though. So let's say you do it yourself. This is for the example layer. This is the name. You can add a description in case you forget what the GPT does, I guess. Instructions. This is where you prompt it, tell it how to do its job. Conversation starters. If you look at whenever you open up ChatGPT, sometimes it'll give you recommendations on like how to start your conversation. That would be this right here. Knowledge. This is where you upload your files and your extensive information that you want to give to the GPT in order to make it, a lot cooler, better, smarter, stronger, faster, all of that. You can provide a recommended model. You can give it capabilities, like if you wanted to do code interpretation and data analysis. And you can give it actions. I don't know much about this. We'll have a video coming out about that later. But right now we're going to be focusing on just the main GPT. So we're about to get right into that. So, how do custom GPTs work? Well, essentially it's split into three parts. We have the base GPT, the prompt, and then the knowledge base. The base GPT is basic chat GPT. If we're in the year, I don't know if you're watching this in the year 2030, we'd probably be on, it's 2025 right now. We'd probably be on like GPT 30 or something. If we're in 2025, then base GPT is GPT 30. It's basic. It's the same as opening up ChatGPT and typing in it. It is a brand new employee for you. Fresh out of college, it knows a lot of stuff. It has all that college education, but it doesn't know anything about your company. It doesn't know how to do the job the way that you want it to be done. This is where the prompt comes in. The prompt is where you give the GPT instructions on how to do its job. This is where you not just how, what to do in the job, and then on top of that, how to do the job. This is where you tell the GPT what not to do as well. So you'd be like, you are a sales analyst, you have to analyze this data. Please don't make anything up. My boss would get really mad at me. That's what you tell the GPT. This is how you tell your employees what their job expectations are. So it's the interview, it's the first day, maybe if you're like in HVAC or something, it's your apprenticeship. It's where you kind of learn things. Finally, there's the knowledge base. The knowledge base is a way of enhancing your prompt by adding extensive documents, PDFs, pictures that relate to the prompt and what you're using the GPT for. This is like having a database of information that your employee can go to find a more detailed overview of what the job is about. I don't like that. Let's restart. Okay, so how do these custom GPTs work? It's essentially split up into three steps. We have the basic GPT, the knowledge base, so how do custom GPTs work? It's essentially split into three parts. We have the basic GPT, the prompt, and then we have the knowledge base. So the custom GPT starts with a base model, which is whatever the most recent ChatGPT model is. It also goes back to legacy. So right now, if you look over here, if we look over here, you can see in this bottom corner, it has GPT-5 thinking, GPT-5, and then 4.0, I had it set to thinking right now because that's going to be the best for whenever we do our example. But it has no knowledge of what you want it to do. It's the same as opening up ChatGPT and typing in whatever. It's a basic ChatGPT. To you, this is like a brand new employee, fresh out of college, just hired, doesn't know anything about how your company works. Next is the prompt. So, what is a prompt? A prompt is essentially your instructions to the GPT. What you want your GPT to do, what you don't want it to do, how you want it to do the job, things to look out for, ways it should process the information. It is your employee's first day on the job or the interview, whichever. I don't know when you tell them what to do. But it's that first time that you tell them their instructions. Without that, if you threw them into the job, they're not going to do anything productive. They're just going to mess everything up, right? They're not going to do anything how you want them. You need this first day information in order to set your employee in the right direction. Next is the knowledge base. The knowledge base is where you can upload your PDFs, research papers, personal documents, even pictures to expand the GPT's knowledge and essentially make it into your own employee, I guess, going back to that example. Because without the knowledge, with just the prompt in the basic GPT, your GPT will have direction, but it won't have any specific knowledge based off of what you want it to do. With the knowledge, this is where you can add in your own true personalization. That's why the knowledge is actually the most important part of building a custom GPT. The knowledge base is like where your employee would go to learn more about your company, to learn more about the job. This could be similar to like your employee getting experience over the years, or talking to somebody who's worked there for a really long time, except obviously it's in text or image form. Because knowledge bases are so important, we're going to get into how they work. Okay, so how a knowledge base works is RAG. What is RAG? Retrieval Augmented Generation. Yes. Sounds really scary. Sounds super cool if you're into that nerdy stuff. I think it's pretty cool, to be honest. Essentially, how RAG works, I'll just read off of here. RAG, it involves two stages. A user prompt is used to query an external knowledge base like internal documents or the internet. Algorithms search and retrieve snippets of the information that are relevant to the prompt. That information is then appended to the user's original prompt. The generation phase is the second phase, obviously, and that augmented prompt, which is the original prompt plus the retrieval information, is passed to a large language model where the LLM synthesizes the answer based on the combined information, producing a more informed and nuanced output than the model would with only its internal knowledge, which is why a knowledge base is so important. A little more on how this works. Essentially, whenever you give your GPT knowledge, it'll split that knowledge into little bitty chunks, right? I don't have a little chart for this, but it'll go, let's see if we can make one really quick. So it'll go and split it into little chunks. Let's say we have 3 bits of information. We're going to make it really small bits of information to make it easy. So we're going to have pencil, paper, and what's on gummy bears. Gummy. Good. There's no way I spelled. Whatever. I don't care. Bears. Okay, so we have pencil, paper. Excuse my slow typing, by the way. We have pencil, paper, and gummy bears. So what What this GPT does is it assigns numeric values to this. So it'll assign this like a 0.2, let's say a point, I don't know, 0.4, and a 0.9. Now, if you notice, pencil and paper are way closer together than gummy bears and pencil, or even gummy bears and paper. Why is that? It is because the values that it assigns are semantic, meaning that they are assigned in relation to each other, right? So a pencil is much closer related to paper than it is to gummy bears, right? You don't eat a pencil, you don't write with gummy bears, you don't draw on gummy bears, so on and so forth. I mean, I guess you could eat paper. That's why it's a 4. There you guys go. But you see how it works. Knowing that, that's why your prompt is so integral to how your GPT works, because it tells the GPT how to go about these types of values. And we're going to get more into that in a second. Okay, guys, what do people miss? This is what we just talked about, I guess, a split second ago, where why your knowledge base and how your prompt interacts with your knowledge base is so important. It is because your prompt has a direct effect on how the GPT uses the knowledge that you have provided it. I'll say that again. Your prompt has a direct effect on how the GPT uses the knowledge that you have provided it. An L example for my younger people would say, you're a great cold email analysis person. Please use... Okay, so how a knowledge base works is RAG. What is RAG? Retrieval Augmented Generation. Yes. Sounds really scary. Sounds super cool if you're into that nerdy stuff. I think it's pretty cool, to be honest. Essentially, how RAG works, I'll just read off of here. RAG, it involves 2 stages. A user prompt is used to query an external knowledge base like internal documents or the internet. Algorithms search and retrieve snippets of the information that are relevant to the prompt. That information is then appended to the user's original prompt. The generation phase is the second phase, obviously, and that augmented prompt, which is the original prompt plus the retrieval information, is passed to a large language model where the LLM synthesizes the answer based on the combined information, producing a more informed and nuanced output than the model would with only its internal knowledge, which is why a knowledge base is so important. A little more on how this works. Essentially, whenever you give your GPT knowledge, it'll split that knowledge into little bitty chunks, right? I don't have a little chart for this, but it'll go, let's see if we can make one really quick. So it'll go and split it into little chunks. Let's say we have 3 bits of information. We're going to make it really small bits of information to make it easy. So we're going to have pencil, paper, and what's on gummy bears? Gummy. Good. There's no way I spelled. Whatever. I don't care. Bears. Okay, so we have pencil, paper. Excuse my slow typing, by the way. We have pencil, paper, and gummy bears. So what this GPT does is it assigns numeric values to this. So it'll assign this like a 0.2, let's say a point, I don't know, 0.4, and a 0.9. Now, if you notice, pencil and paper are way closer together than gummy bears and pencil, or even gummy bears and paper. Why is that? It is because the values that it assigns are semantic, meaning that they are assigned in relation to each other, right? So a pencil, is much closer related to paper than it is to gummy bears, right? You don't eat a pencil, you don't write with gummy bears, you don't draw on gummy bears, so on and so forth. I mean, I guess you could eat paper. That's why it's a 4. There you guys go. But you see how it works. Knowing that, that's why your prompt is so integral to how your GPT works, because it tells the GPT how to go about these types of values. And we're going to get more into that in a second. Okay, guys, what do people miss? This is what we just talked about, I guess, a split second ago, where why your knowledge base and how your prompt interacts with your knowledge base is so important. It is because your prompt has a direct effect on how the GPT uses the knowledge that you have provided it. I'll say that again. Your prompt has a direct effect on how the GPT uses the knowledge that you have provided it. An L example for my younger people would say, you're a great cold email analysis person. Please use the info provided to form your answer. Why is this bad? Because you don't know how to use the information. Like, whenever you have your employee, you give them all these resources, but you don't give them a table of contents to the resources. You don't tell him what the resources are for. He's just going to be like, what the heck? Now, it's not going to be to say that he won't be able to use the resources at all, but it's just going to take a lot more work to make those resources productive for him. Versus the W example. You are the world's best email analyst. When analyzing emails, use the information provided to provide the best email structure for the prompt. While this change may seem minuscule, it reverberates throughout the rest of your GPT build like crazy. This one step is like, I don't even know how much computing power that just gets skipped over, essentially, because you just tell it what to do instead of making it work and find what to do next. This is the most important part, and you don't see this in any tutorials, because it's like, I don't know why. I mean, because people are done with making custom agents, like they're not useful anymore, and it's because they don't do things like this. They just skip straight to paying, agencies $1,000 to make agents, whenever they could just do this and then copy paste it into their marketing, their email, cold email thing or whatever. So to pull everything together a little bit more, we're going to go and get into the framework. Okay, goodness, I start with okay a lot, don't I? The framework. So this is the coolest part of this whole presentation, in my opinion, because look at these lines. Look at that. I love it. Okay, so this is your GPT in the middle. This is your prompt. This is your knowledge, right? 3 steps, like I said before. We have, let's see if we can zoom out and like. We have prompt. Goodness gracious. GPT, prompt, instructions, knowledge base. GPT, prompt, knowledge base. Okay, let's hop into it. So, example of how the knowledge base, how you should format your knowledge base, essentially. You should give it examples first of the work that you wanted to do. So if you're making a cold email custom GPT, you would give it a cold email template, right? You see how it says subject, body, and it has everything split out? That would help with the retrieval augmented generation. You can give it a picture just like this, but what you need to give it is an example of the work that you want to be done. So if you're going into building a custom GPT, you don't know what the output, if you don't know what you want the output to look like, then you should take some time to make a document for that or look it up on the internet, because like, if you don't know what you want it to make, then nothing it's going to make you is going to be good. Ooh, that was good. Okay. But yeah, that's the example. And then background. So you give it the example. You gave your employee what you want your work to look like. But your employee is going to ask, how do I make that level of work? What goes into it? I can't just, copy paste without knowing why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's where the background comes in. So I just found a little article on how to write a cold email. Essentially this goes over like the do's and don'ts, why it works, what stresses people out about cold emailing. And it essentially goes much more into depth about what a cold email is, how it works, and what things are good about it, what would make a good cold email and what would make a bad cold email. So then you just gave your employee the knowledge behind the example in order to make a good output. Over here, we have the prompt. This is going to be a lot of screen reading, so if you're a presentation jockey, you might want to skip this part. So essentially we have 4 different parts of prompting. Now if you've been in the GPT space for a while, you've seen all this before. I get it. Except you probably haven't seen this part down here, which we will get to. So first, we have the act as. This is where you tell your GPT, your employee, what he's gonna do. 2025, what they're gonna do. This is where you decide what your GPT is gonna be. It's gonna be better to think big here, no roles too small. That's just a me thing. I don't know if it actually helps, to be honest. But yeah, so what I would say is you're the best cold email data analyst in the world. Because, like, why would you just be a great one whenever you could have it be the best? Your GPT can do anything you want it to do. Think big. Come on, man. Goal. What does your GPT need to do in order to complete its task? I'm shaking my camera. Your goal, an example of this would be, your goal is to analyze this email and copy, then provide 5 ways to enhance its conversion rate. This is where, of course, you tell your GPT what it's going to do. So as a cold email analyzer, what is my goal? What am I going to do? Now, the goal can be delivered in 2 different ways. This goal would be more so a conversational goal that you give it. So this would be something that you type into the chat, like here or over here in this area. I realize that this is a bad example of what you'd put into the actual prompt. So a better example would be, sorry for the cut. A better example would be just to say your goal is to analyze emails and provide different ways to enhance the conversion rate. This part right here is like specific to the user, right? This email, like we just gave it an email, but it would be to analyze emails and then provide different ways to enhance their conversion rates. Now, the rules. What are the do's and don'ts for the GPT? What ways can it interact with your knowledge base to reach its goal? Only answer, an example of that would be, only answer based off the prompt and the knowledge in your knowledge base. Cite the evidence for each answer that you provide. Your thought process is analyze, evaluate, analyze. Let's redo this part. Analyze, and holy spelling. Analyze, strategize. Goodness gracious. I need to go back to English class. Answer. Self-check. I spelled it wrong twice. Strategics, sure. Your thought process is analyze, strategize, answer, self-check. Giving your GPT a thought process will, first of all, give you insight on how it's thinking, so then you can evaluate and upgrade it for later. And also, it'll give it a chance to check itself, making a better product for you. Now, Document usage. Once again, most important part. Here you outline, I hate Grammarly so much. Here you outline how your AI will use the documents that you have provided. Why do I keep, I'm not touching my keyboard anymore. I'm just using my mouse. Always identify, so an example of this would be to always identify what technique you're using to structure this email, right? So in here we have, it talks about lots of different ways to write, like to upgrade and make your email better. And we're talking about, we're telling the GPT to essentially cite that and identify why, like identify what it's doing, so then it can know why it's doing that, and so it has a specific reason for why it's using specific information from the document before, and then of course we'll tell it to explain why it used the answer, so then again we get insight onto how the GPT works. So with that all said, could this work here? Oh, look at that. With that all said, it is time for us to scheme and make ourselves our own GPT. Okay guys, so let's get into making this GPT. So if you notice in the name, it doesn't say Lover AI anymore. That's because we're not making a love-based AI, because it actually turned out to be very unprofessional. If I sound any different, if I look any different, that's because this is a different day. I was not very happy with how that turned out. Even though it was hilarious, it wasn't productive. So what we have here is the offer maker. Boom. Sorry, the offer maker. We're going to take this off of thinking, and we're going to ask it to make me a offer for, make me an offer for a lamp company. Let's see here. This is way too much stuff. Offer it. This is a whole business plan. Is this an offer or a business plan? This should be what? Nope. Actually, no. Wow. Okay, so obviously you can just see that this isn't even what we were asking for. This is what wasn't what I was going for. I was about to restart, but I just realized this is exactly why we need custom GPTs, because they just can't do, it's not able to do a lot with a little. You're gonna have to give a lot to get a lot. What we're gonna do is apply our efforts in other areas in order for our GPT to do better things for us. So bear with me while I write out a GPT prompt real quick. Okay, so I have the document here now. This has I just put it on here so it would be easier for you guys to know, like to see everything. To go through it really quick, we do have the goal, the objective, we have how it's going to reach the objective, a few little things because I've been working, a few like things like psychological appeal and a call to action, because I have been working on a better version of this for my boss, but there's gonna be a video coming out about that like way later. And then told it to self-check, which is something I actually picked up. I don't know if I picked this up, if I put this probably isn't in the video from before. I mean, sorry, this isn't from earlier in the video, but yeah, you should tell your GPT to self-check, because it can self-check, and it's like another layer that protects against hallucinations. Yeah, so we have this, so we're gonna copy paste it. Also notice we're missing a piece. Comment down below what piece I was missing. I don't know, do YouTubers still even say that? Okay. Okay, so we have the prompt in the GPT. Now it's time to see what it's gonna do for me. Okay, what was it? I think I asked it, make me a offer for a lamp business. Okay, now you can see that off rip, immediately, way more concise, way less freaking mumbo jumbo. It didn't give us a whole outline to make a business. It gave us illuminate your space with our premium lamps. Looking to brighten up your home or office with style? Look no further. Blah blah blah. Special offer. Now it's giving you value in your offer. It's giving you things to choose from. It has, you know, of course it has the emojis because ChatGPT does that. And it essentially just revamped what it did before and made it concise and made it an actual offer. And that's all from this prompt. Now it could be shorter and it could be way longer. Like, I've made much longer prompts. You see this little thing here? Yeah, man, crazy. Prompt cowboy, insane. There's gonna be a video coming out about that soon. But yeah, so we have that now, and we're going to get into the next part, which is document processing. Okay, so we're in the GPT here, and it's time to process our documents. But what documents are we going to process? And how are we going to tell the GPT to process the documents? Well, let's see here. We're going to give it... I have a few things in here already. See the 5-part love letter? Bad idea. Lots of business offers. I'm going to do $100 million offers. Please don't tell Alex I have this free PDF. This is you guys should be pretty familiar with this book. If you're not, it essentially goes over how to make a good offer, essentially. Okay, here's a quick overview. Alex Hormozi just explains how to create Grand Slam offers that are so compelling that they eliminate competition and make it impossible to refuse. I think he does this by he's giving people value and social proof, I believe. And it seems like, let's see, strategies for pricing, managing money models to remove cash constraints, and social proof and scarcity. So there are lots of people that you'll see using this book in their day-to-day business, and now we're going to be using it. But in order to use it, we're going to have to tell our GPT to use it. Let me close this. And the way we're going to tell our GPT to use it is by saying, okay, so here I have used the $100 million offer book to influence how you position your offers and the language that your offer is presented in. So we're going to go here, boom, copy. Okay, so we got it in to ChatGPT right here, under here. And we're going to see how different the offer is now. Make me an offer for a lamp company. Also, I know earlier I said that you should be doing this in thinking mode, and it is better. But for the sake of this already super long video, we're doing it in an instant. You can already see Grand Slam offers. As mentioned right here. Okay, the lamp, a high quality customizable lamp that adapts to every room and every setting. The base comes various finishes. Lampshades can be personalized with over 30 fabric options. Deal. Buy one lamp and get a second one for 50% off, plus a free smart light bulb that adjusts color temperature. So you can already see that it's giving you more value with your deal off rip. And it gives you even more value with a bonus, which is a 2-year warranty and free express shipping. So now you're getting your lamp fast. You can get another one for really cheap. And on top of that, if you get that second lamp, you get a smart light bulb. Urgency. Now, It's speeding up the how fast you buy the offer, because the offer is only valid for the next 45 hours. I'm sorry, 48 hours, so you can get more sales in a shorter period of time. And then on top of that, it tells you why the offer works. So it literally just tells you what I just told you. It adds value, makes it scarce and urgent, gives you a really strong guarantee. Oh yeah, I missed that part. If you, after 30 days, if you aren't satisfied with the lamp, we'll pick it up and give you a full refund. So they have no reason to say no, essentially, because they get more when they buy more. It gets there fast. It doesn't really, it's not, that type of offer isn't going to be there for them for long. And then on top of that, if they don't like what they get, they can just send it back. And how long does it take you not to like a lamp? Not too long. Just turn it on. Like, this is incredible. This is an incredible offer, and all this was done from prompting and then using the prompt to train your GPT on knowledge. This is an incredible example of how to use custom GPTs, and I hope that you guys learned a lot this video, and I hope that you come by again to learn some more. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out.